everyone. So today is September 10th. I kind of been neglecting the camera lately. I haven't been videoing much. Sailor had it when we were raking some hay the other day, and then we had the hoof trimmer out and just kind of playing catch up around the farm. So we've been, what do we all do? We got hay all done, or pretty much all done. We got to pick up some hay bales yet. Then Dad cut the meadow a few days ago, raked it all up yesterday, baled some of it. Some was a little too wet yet, so he's gonna finish that up today. And then, yes, yesterday I cleaned up the merger, kind of got all just the old hay and stuff that was stuck on the bottom where those shoes are. Get hay and dirt and stuff in there, just kind of hay everywhere, and kind of cleaned that up a bit, washed it off some. So we got that unhooked so we can use that tractor for other stuff, because silage is right around the corner. I'm not exactly sure when we're gonna start yet. Tomorrow is the burn down days at Sunrise, our co-op. So what that means is we cut off a few sample stalks, take it up there, they run it through a grinder, chop it up, they test the moisture on it, then we kind of get a lot better idea when we're gonna start chopping. You know, I've kind of been thinking it's still a couple weeks off yet, but you know, this week and for a while now it's gonna be mid-80s. That's really gonna speed stuff up, and it might be closer than what I'm thinking. No one around here is chopping at all yet, but it seems like once you do that burn down days, all of a sudden people start getting those results, and everyone's like kind of a lot closer than what people think. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. So we're just gonna kind of get all done with hay. So I got the merger cleaned up. I might pressure wash the disc spine today. And yeah, so I got a couple little projects I want to get done before we get real busy with silage. So one thing, I got some stuff from the hardware store. In that Quonset we got our calves. I want to put a light in there because it's starting to get darker. It's staying darker a little earlier, or later in the mornings. It gets darker earlier at nights, and once we get busy with silage, and we might be feeding calves once it gets dark out after we chop, and finally we'll go feed calves. Or if I want to feed calves earlier in the morning, I want a light in there just to make everything go a lot better. I just got a light. I'm going to wire that up with just an outlet there and a switch. And then Sarah bought a sign that I need to get hung up before Wednesday. So this last weekend it was is that twisted? I don't know. So yeah, this last weekend there was a big craft fair sale, whatever you want to call it, in Little Falls. Pretty well-known craft fair. So she bought a sign I kind of give her a hard time for buying stuff, but this thing is actually pretty cool. And it's got like a little wind propeller that moves the tractor. I'll have Sarah, she had a meeting or something now, but I'll have her say who made it or what. It's actually very sharp looking ordeal. So I gotta get this hung up today, because on Thursday she's having some co-workers over for like a unit retreat or something it's called. So she's having it over here. She wants it hung up before that, so that's what we're gonna do now. So this actually came on a post, like a big stake you stick in the ground and stick it in, and then you gotta mow around it and stuff, and it seems like it's just gonna kind of get in the way. And we like to put it somewhere where you can see it, but it doesn't get ran over or nothing. So we're actually gonna so I welded up a frame, kind of a stand deal. I'm gonna tip over. There. So we're gonna mount it right on the wall of the shed here. As you come down the driveway, it'll be hanging kind of that second row of screws there. Should look pretty sharp. Those planes going. So Sarah, I welded that up here on Sunday. Just a couple pieces of angle iron and a little mount thing that sign sits in. And she painted it here last couple days. So that's what it is. Nothing fancy, but should be kind of cool. So I got some screws for it. We're gonna hang this up, see if we can get it level. Maybe surprise her when she gets home from her meeting. That wasn't too hard. Looks pretty sharp. Nothing super huge and fancy, but pretty cool. As long as it holds. Well, we'll get her thoughts on it when she gets home. So we're gonna go hook up a light and some outlets. An outlet and a switch now. Alright, so my plan with this light here, I just got a light. I picked the one that had the most lumens, and there's another thing. I forget what it was even, but anyways, this should be the brightest light they had. I just want something bright and LED. So the plan is I'm gonna mount it somewhere above that door on that header somewhere. It's gonna have it kind of angled, kind of right in the middle here, so I get some light over here and some light over here. This way you come in here when it's dark out. I mean, you can feed calves, but it's nice to have a light so you can actually see the calves. They should all get up to come to drink and stuff. It's nice seeing that, having a little better look at it, especially once we get busy with harvest. You know, it's always kind of rushed, and it just nice to see it. And I like bright lights. Like in our barn, I switched everything over to LEDs. In the old shop, switched them to LEDs, and just I like bright light. I like a lot of light. I like being able to see. So that's what I'm gonna do. This shouldn't take a whole lot. One light. Then I got a box that have a switch on. We're just gonna mount that kind of right in here. I think once it does get colder, we'll keep this door mostly shut, so you come in here, hit your switch. I'm gonna have an outlet there just for just to have power here basically, so I don't know if we'll have calves in here this winter or not yet. The way it's looking, we might, because these calves have been doing really good for us. So I do want to put a water heater in that water so that doesn't freeze up this winter. So it'd be nice to have power here, so I can just run an extension cord over to a heating element of some sort. So that'll be mounted there. Then I'm going to get power just from the calf barn. It's right through that door there. I'm going to just run an extension cord over to here and have it plug in to a wire, basically another extension cord. I want to make an extension cord out of some wire we got here. Just run the wire across there so the calves can't get at it, and that'll be my power source. So with electricity, I took a couple classes in high school. I actually really like dealing with electricity. Just the very simple stuff, outlets, lights. It's kind of fun. I don't care for doing a lot of the more technical stuff, but simple wiring is kind of enjoyable. So I kind of don't mind little projects like this. It's simple. Nothing is Looks super nice when I'm done. It's wire nutted together and should have more covers and stuff and a little more protective, but it always works. So I'm gonna go get a ladder and start hooking this bad boy up. All right, so we got her all hooked up, lights hung up. I do have to get some staples or something to kind of hold the wire up better, but everything should be wired up and in place. So I got this is a switch here with an outlet. So it's pretty confident everything's wired. I got power coming in, just kind of strung along here. Over the top of the hay bales, you know, there's a window kind of on the back side there that goes to the extension cord over that calf barn. So it's not ideal or fancy. When we move these bales, we kind of have to move it around, but basically the power coming in is basically an extension cord. So I could have ran, I like that, ran it lower, but then the calves can kind of get at it, and this way it's up out of the way, nothing super tight and that it's gonna be a pain to move it. I can move it easily, calves can't get at it, that's all that matters. Just when we move the bales or put new bales in, we're gonna have to monkey with it, but let's flip that switch and see what happens. Switch is backwards apparently. Oh yeah, we got light. Can't tell much with it being light out. You can't look at it though, so it must be pretty bright. Tonight, after chores, when it's dark out, I'll come in here and flip it on and see how well it works. Maybe I'll have to, I got quite a bit of wire left. If it isn't that bright, I can get another one and hang one up somewhere else. We'll see. It should get the job done for now anyways. No sparks are flying. Calves aren't getting shocked or anything, so should be good. Oh, next morning here. So I forgot to come out and turn the light on once it's dark. Just to show you what it looks like, but lights are up pretty nice. So next day here, it is September 11th. So we took a couple of samples up to the creamery to get our corn samples, silage samples to get tested. They came back at 69.3 and one was 69.4%. So for us, when we we would fill our bunker, we wanted about 67%. So it's pretty dang close. It's and that was some of our earliest planted corn, but basically all the same variety except for one, I don't know, 15, 20 acres is a little bit later stuff, but it's all like a 97 day or 99 days corn, something like that. But it was really similar, so that means majority of our silage corn is all about the same. So we're close. Today's Wednesday. So we'll probably, depending on what the rain and stuff does, we should start in the next day or two, but probably be Monday. We don't want to do it over the weekend. This weekend we got our church bazaar coming up on Sunday. Bow hunting opens up Saturday, which I probably won't go anyways because we got to get all this stuff ready. But we got to get the processor in the chopper. So here's the processor. Now last year I showed a video on this, but we got more subscribers, more followers. People probably haven't watched all the videos and stuff, so I'll show it again a little bit here. So this goes, so you got your head, what cuts the corn, the big yellow thing in front, cuts it, goes into the feed rolls, the spinners, and that goes to your knives, which cut everything. And then it goes through this. So it's kind of amazing, but every piece of the whole stock that gets cut and goes through the chopper, goes between, right through the center here. It's kind of zigzagged. You can kind of see where the gap is. Right there, you can see it pretty good. Every single piece of that corn stalk will go between that gap there. Or not that one, but across the whole thing. You know, it's constantly feed going in here across the whole works. Everything goes through there. And the main reason for this is to bust up the actual corn kernel and just pulverizes that to nothing. That's why it gets be more digestible for the cow. And then after that, it goes up into the blower that blows it into the box. And this is called, there's different kinds of processors, like on our old pull type, instead of this kind of triangle looking shape, it was just a round drum with edges on it. This is called a kernel star processor, I believe. I know John Deere's got a couple different ones that they have. But I don't know, this is what we got with the chopper, and it seems to do a pretty good job. So we gotta get this in there, and this is probably one of my least favorite jobs to do. It can be really a pain in the bugger to get in there. You only do it once a year. You put it in once, you take it out once, but it's always a battle. It takes about 10 times climbing under the chopper, kind of in top inside of it, and never goes as planned. It's always like that head. It needs to be at a certain height so that there's enough room for that thing to kind of cut. Well, you'll see it, but you go underneath the head, then it turns up into it. There's a chain in there that pulls it up, and never goes as smoothly as I hope. But we gotta get this in there today, and then probably go through the chopper boxes again, check tires, grease them up. Then we'll be ready to chop. Got some more bales to pick up. We got one load this morning. Dad's unloading them right now. We went and got the samples tested. So I'll probably just keep working on this until Dad's done unloading, and maybe there's probably 2 more loads to get. So hopefully get a bunch accomplished today. Alright, so first thing I gotta do is there's 2 separate pans there where the processor goes. There's one on the bottom here that comes out, that falls out fairly easily. There's one up above it that there's a couple of bolts that hold it on. Those gotta come out, which on top of there is full of hay dust and chaff. And this is a miserable job. There's no way around getting absolutely covered in hay dust. And I grabbed several different sockets because I can never remember what size it is. So hopefully that involves one less trip trying to crawl underneath here. One advantage of being a small guy though, I don't have to have a dealership come out to put the processor in. Alright, so these 2 pins, one can come out. When you open this up, you gotta stay back a bit because if there's any weight on it, it wants to fly out. Now, not really any good spot to set you guys, but how about right here? Alright, there's one. Alright, so those pans are out. So right in here is where that processor sits. Use your knives. It's gonna cut everything, push it through the processor, and go into there, which is your blower. You can't see it great, but there's like paddles in there, fans that spin super fast, and it's like a fan and blows them out. So now I've got to, I can't remember what's the best way to do it. I think there's a belt that goes kind of around that, actually around a pulley right there. That's the tightener for the belt, or engages the belt. I think it's easy to put that on now, where I can stand inside here and then slide the processor underneath, hook it up. Alright, so we got the belt in place. You kind of had to fish it around through there to get it over this big pulley there. And it comes out there. So right in this loop here is what will go on the processor, and that's what turns it. So if I remember right, it's easier to get that on now, so I can work on it right here. Kind of keep this belt up and out of the way, like so. Pull that processor and get it way up high, put that on and set it back down. So to pick that processor up, they got a fancy winch system in here. Actually, I can pull this out. Oh, what the hell. There's a button actually right here, but I think I gotta turn the key on in the chopper to make it run. But put that all the way down, hook that onto the processor, hit the button, hopefully it pulls it up somewhat straight. So next day here again. So we got the processor all put in, hopefully correctly. I think it's right. I ran it, everything sounded fine, but you never really know until you put some corn through it that it's good. But we're gonna test it out, and we're gonna put up a bag we're gonna chop our non-silage corn, just our regular conventional corn. That's gonna be just for our dry cows and heifers. We're gonna start our bunker with our silage corn probably Monday, most likely. We want to get this one bag out of the way. We're going to put it kind of just north of the house, right on the other side of our septic system. Our tar pad is pretty much full. There's room for one more bag, but we're going to put our high moisture corn there. We like to have that corn bag on the tar. There's really no other good spot to put it, so I'm going to chop some corn right along the house here, make a path so we can put a bag up and kind of a roundabout so we can get out, and hopefully it all goes well. So hopefully nothing plugs up, gets wrecked, don't hit nothing. So a bunch of Sarah's co-workers are here today doing like a retreat thing or something, some work through work. So we're gonna have an audience today chopping. Of course, it's right by the house, so they'll probably get a kick out of it.